So, as we were all looking at the poster, we were seeing various places, various faces there. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to waste our time. Some of us, we might be wondering, how do I live in Zimbabwe? How do I survive in Zimbabwe? Won't I step on someone and get arrested? So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, help me welcome to the stage the advocate himself. He's my friend, and we grew up together. His name is Chido Manganye.
Firstly, I want to say, everyone is supposed to have a constitution, regardless whether you're a lawyer or not. How many of us do have the constitution? And the funny thing is, everyone talks about the rights, like infringing my rights, but we don't have a constitution. So the first thing that we are supposed to have is in Zimbabwe. We are supposed to have a constitution, and it's free of charge. There in the constitution, I will focus on what we call the Bill of Rights. In the Bill of Rights, that is where your rights are. That is, for example, your right to dignity, right to life. So you're supposed to know your rights. So for you to know your rights, you're supposed to have a constitution. When you do have a constitution, that's where you find those friendly people who work with us, which we call the police. Maybe sometimes they will infringe your rights because they know that you don't know the constitution. So the first thing that you're supposed to have as a Zimbabwean, you're supposed to have a constitution. And then in that constitution, it's so tedious to read the constitution. But I would say you need to understand the Bill of Rights. In the Bill of Rights, that is where you come to understand your right to dignity, right to life. And then I want to, after the constitution, this area that everyone now is a brand. And if I have to ask everyone, you will see this and this is a brand. But the same thing, that brand is not registered. So someone can use also your name, and you don't have any way to say, because you are not registered, you want your brand. So as a person, you're supposed to register your brand. How many of us have brands? You will see that everyone in this house has a brand. But how many of us have approached a lawyer to register that brand? You see, it's none. And most of us, we've gone as far as Instagram is all the social medias to advertise those brands. But those brands are not protected. So one of the areas that you're not supposed to do when you are entering the business or when you are doing something, when you are recognizing yourself as a brand, you need to register yourself as a brand. And then another area that I want to mention when I'm talking about these basics of laws, this what we call warrant of arrest and warrant of search. How many of us know warrant of arrest and warrant of search? How many of us know about warrant of arrest and warrant of search? In most cases, when police come to your house, they will knock the door, and then without invitation, they will enter your house, and we don't have anything to say because we don't know what about this warrant of search. So here to conscientize you, whenever you have done a crime, the first thing that you're supposed to know, you are supposed to have what they call warrant of arrest. So you ask the police officer, do you have warrant of arrest? They will know that you are conscientized about what? About law. And then when they want to search your house, you need to ask them what we call warrant of search. Are we all agree on these things? So when you get to know this warrant of arrest and this warrant of search, you will be able to understand all these criteria that we use in terms of criminal law. And I would want also to pick on the area of businesses. Most of us, we are running businesses which are not registered. And the same thing about running this business which are not registered is the area of tenders. You're not able to get tenders. So you need to get tenders. If you are running a business and you don't get a tender, it's because that business was registered. So when you register a business, you'll be able to get a tender. So I will not say those legal terms which are hard to understand, but there's this what we call the Act, which we call the Business Entries Act, Carbon Act. So you are supposed to register your business under this act, which we call the Business Interest and Carbon Act. Either you registered as a what, as a corporation or as a private limited. It will help you in getting tenders. It will help you in also sustaining your business. So as you thrive and go on with your business, you need to register your business. And one of the areas that I like to mention, which is of importance, because my topic is broad, so that I will attract more questions from you, is the area everyone knows about. Everyone was making a debate about this new marriage act. Everyone was saying, no, I don't want to get married if there's no loophole. But many people, they never read that act, and they don't understand what it protects. If I have to ask anyone, what does that marriage act tell us about, besides loophole, everyone will be quiet. But if I say marriage act, and then everyone will be saying, no, they're supposed to pay loophole. So in that marriage act, there are many things that protect a girl child. For example, it gives what? It gives authority, or it gives before this new marriage act, a lady or a woman in Zimbabwe, when you are married under customary law, you are not recognized as a person. It's either you need to get your signature from your husband or from your parent for you to get something. So with this new marriage act, it gives also power to what? To the ladies. So that is one of those areas that is of importance in terms of marriages. And then one of these things about the laws in Zimbabwe, if you don't know about the laws, ignorance, they will not consider it as defense. Saying that I didn't know that it was a crime, it's not a defense. Even if you cry, it's not a defense. So you're supposed to know, especially the laws that are coming. And I would want to mention one of the areas which many of us, all of us, we are in WhatsApp groups, yes. Are we in WhatsApp groups? And in WhatsApp groups, you see these chain messages which are circulating. If you don't post this into what to you, this person has been doing this and this and that. So there's this new act which is now in place for those who like to post chain messages, threatening others. You understand that you'll be sometimes you'll be doing a criminal activity. So for example, there is this act which we call the Data Protection Act, which is a new act which also governs us all, because we are in WhatsApp groups. For others who impersonate others, it's also a crime in Zimbabwe. And also for those who like to send nudes of others without their consent, it's now a crime in Zimbabwe. So you need to understand all these things. So you understand that law is in every area of our life in Zimbabwe. So there's no way that we can talk about either in business, in family, we also talk about law. So there's no way that you run away from what we call law. Because I talked about many things, I would ask the host to come, because people would want to ask questions about those things.
One of the major things or major aspects where it raised a concern was the issue that you spoke about the new marriage bill. So can you try to explain to us with ladies that they want to get married, but they don't really know which marriage act should they venture into? Some of them, they might be at a certain stage right now, but they believe they are going to have more than us men, but they would want to protect those things because they don't know that how long are we going to be in this relationship. Maybe things don't work out, but we have to separate things maybe half and half because of the marriage act that we have gotten into. So can you share any insight on that and we see how it goes?
So I will say again about those chapters. Before this new act, there were chapter 505. So there were chapter 05 and then chapter 011. And these two acts, they were mainly in terms of customary law and also in terms of what we call general law. So in terms of customary law, that is where one is supposed to pay toll or lobola for you. And then in terms of this general law, one was supposed to do a Y20. But now under this new marriage act, all these types of laws, they are now what? They are under this new marriage act. So regardless that you have done customary law or also you do general law, you are now also considered to have done this marriage. So there's now more differentiation between these marriages. And also it helps also, especially for women, in terms of inheritance, in terms of also giving them credit history, in terms of giving them also authority. Because prior before this act, in terms of customary law, a woman was subjected under the husband or the father when the woman is married under customary law. So now under this new marriage act, the women have now power in terms of marriages also.
But my question is regarding the issue of cyber law. We have noticed that cyber law is the new thing regarding how businesses operate. The business model now is shaped by cyber law. How, as a country, how exactly have we been improved the Bureau of Law towards cyber security? Because I haven't seen the cyber law, I haven't seen it being gazetted to colleges or any other institutions where it's very much accessible to me. From my own perspective is that you are then charged that this is a cyber crime, but the cyber gazette hasn't been published. How accessible is this cyber gazette, or how accessible is this cyber law to businesses and individuals? And and also the other question is how I'm trying to think of the right words to use. How consistently is it updated? Because cybercrime, there are new cyber laws, there are new cyber threats that are happening as we speak now. So the cyber law gazette, how consistently is it updated?
In action, it came this year, January. So before one was charged under the Criminal Codification Act. But now, this law is so broad, I would advise every one of us which are supposed to read this cyber law. Many of these cyber criminals or cyber threats that are coming in, they are all gazetted in this act that I'm talking about, this Consumer Data Protection Act. So as businesses or as individuals, especially as individuals, we are supposed to get the Data Protection Act, which is free to access and read and have knowledge about it. And if you are in business, I would advise you to go and see someone who is knowledgeable, who is your lawyer, and try to understand if you are not infringing this Data Protection Act, so that you will guide it accordingly.
Thank you so much. I wish I had knowledge with these things, but as a host, I think I'm getting an insight on these things. That's why you are here, and we are all getting light. Are we agreeing? Okay. Do we have any other question to the advocate? Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask, you said you keep mentioning lawyers as a business. So I wanted to find out, so as a business person, do I always have to have a lawyer in order to protect my brand, my product, etc., or I can still find my way around the city, find my way around, reading, like he was asking, are the acts available as a business, the things that I should know and the things that protect me in a sense. Do I always have to have a lawyer representing or guiding me, or that's an added advantage, like say if I'm not a reader, then maybe the lawyer then steps in and gives me guidance, but okay, this is what's available now, or should the lawyer always be in there?
I think it's advisable for you to, for example, the first thing that you're supposed to hear before a lawyer, you're supposed to have a constitution. Just know your constitution. Because I every day I face people who are struggling with police, not because they don't know, but it's because they don't know the constitution. So I believe if everyone knows the constitution, we will be safe. And also knows about these two ways that I've said, this warrant of search and warrant of arrest. And also will be guided. And when we are doing business, it's more advisable to do business consulting your lawyer, especially if the lawyer is in terms of corporate law. For example, he will guide you or she will guide you. For example, we have now this new companies law, which are called the Business Interests and Companies Act. So the lawyer will guide you accordingly.
Okay, thank you. Is there another question?
Okay, thank you so much for the awareness here. My question is is there a difference rather between brand registration and company registration? And you mentioned that for brand registration you needed a lawyer, and whereas you are finding almost everybody doing this company registration things. What is the difference between brand registration and company registration, if there is, and what are the constituents of, say for example, the CR7, what for the company registration, and versus the brand registration? Thank you.
So that's why you're seeing those consultants do consulting for you. You can also go on yourself to the register and do that namesake for namesake agent, get those CR7 and CR14. Now, when it comes to the difference between the company and the brand, for example, there are people who have trademarks. For example, you might find the company is called Econet, and maybe they have a brand or they have a trademark which is called brand. So, for you to get protected, that is what we call under intellectual property law. So you need a lawyer who is more knowledgeable about protecting your brand. But anyone besides getting a lawyer or not, you can register your company.
In the event that I am arrested, or they are supposed to handcuff me when I refuse to go with them to the police. And also, when we get to the police station, are they supposed to bring me up when you're questioning me, or it is illegal for them to pick me up here, not under any circumstances supposed to do it?
So that one is so broad, but I will try to answer it in simple terms. That's why I say you're supposed to know your rights under the Constitution. For example, I would pick a simple crime. The police comes to your door. I think they will take you and put you in remand, and then they will ask you again to come, and then you start to ask forgiveness to the police office. So let me go back again. You need, when the police officer comes to your house, you need to ask them for what we call warrant of arrest. You need to know what you are arrested for. Don't just say, let's go to the police and then you just go. You need to ask them what is the warrant of arrest. And then when they want them to search for your house, they need what we call warrant of search. So you need to understand the warrant of arrest and warrant